Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
This book is about a special way to learn things. It is about learning hard things quickly. We call this way ultra-learning. Let's start with a story about Scott Young. Scott finished university. He studied business, but he wanted to make computer programs. He wanted to be an entrepreneur. He thought about going back to school. But that would take 4 more years and cost a lot of money. Scott looked for a better way. He found something interesting online. MIT, a famous school, put many of their classes on the internet for free. These classes had videos, notes, and even tests. Scott thought, can I learn everything for a degree just by using these free classes? This was the start of his big challenge. He called it the MIT Challenge. He decided to learn all the classes for a computer science degree in just 1 year. A normal degree takes 4 years. He did not go to MIT. He stayed in his home city. He studied very hard. He watched videos fast. He tested himself often. He worked on programming projects. After almost 12 months, Scott finished. He learned all the classes. He passed the final tests. He did not get a degree from MIT, but he learned the information. It showed him that you can learn hard things outside of school. You can learn them fast if you have a good plan and work hard. This is what ultra-learning is. It is a way to learn skills and knowledge. It is self-directed, which means you choose what to learn and how. It is also intense, which means you focus hard and work fast. Why is learning new things quickly important today? The world is changing. Jobs are changing. Many jobs need new skills. School can be very expensive. A university degree may not be enough anymore. Learning hard skills quickly can help you get a better job or start a new career. It can help you stay good at your job as things change. Technology helps us learn more easily than before. Many classes and books are online for free. But ultra-learning is not just for jobs. It is for your life too. Maybe you want to play music, speak a new language, or paint. Learning hard things gives you a good feeling. It shows you that you can do difficult things. It gives you confidence. Many people have used this special way of learning. Scott Young learned computer science. He also learned 4 languages in 1 year. He traveled to different countries like Spain, Brazil, China, and Korea. He did not speak English for a whole year. This helped him learn the languages very fast. Think about Benny Lewis. He is famous for learning languages quickly. He learned Spanish, Italian, French, and more. He often tried to learn a language in just 3 months. He was not afraid to speak from the first day. Roger Craig used a similar idea to win a lot of money on a TV show called Jeopardy! This show asks questions about everything. Roger used computers to study old questions. He practiced remembering answers very fast. He won more money in 1 day than anyone before him. Eric Barron is another example. He wanted to make his own video game. He worked alone for nearly 5 years. He had to learn many skills: programming, art, music, and writing. He learned by making the game again and again. His game, Stardew Valley, became very popular. He went from a low-paying job to a millionaire. These people learned very different things, but they used similar ideas. They planned their learning, they focused hard. They learned by doing, they practiced the difficult parts. They tested themselves, they used feedback, they found ways to remember, they built their understanding. They tried new things. This book will show you how they did it. It will show you how you can use these ideas to learn anything you want. Learning hard things quickly is not easy, but it can change your life. 2. Plan your learning. Why is a good plan important when you want to learn something new? Imagine you want to go on a trip to a new city. You need to know how to get there. You need to know what you will do when you arrive. Planning your learning is like making a map and a simple list for your trip. It helps you know where you are going and the best way to travel. Without a plan, you might take a long, slow road. You might try learning things that are not helpful, or you might not find the best tools to help you learn quickly. A simple plan is the first step to learning new things fast and well. The first thing in your plan is to think why you want to learn this. What is your main reason? Is it for work? Maybe you want a new job or to be better at your current job. This is a work reason. Or maybe you want to learn just because it is interesting or fun for you. This is a personal reason. Knowing your reason is important. It helps you decide what parts of the subject you need to learn most. If it is for a job, you need skills that people use in that job every day. If it is for fun, you can learn what makes you happy. Think about your reason. Ask yourself, will learning this really help me reach my goal? Sometimes talking to people who already know this skill is a good idea. They can share if your plan sounds good. Next, think what you need to learn. What are the different parts of this new skill or subject? It is helpful to break the big subject into smaller pieces. Think about 3 kinds of things you need to learn: ideas, facts, and doing. Ideas are things you need to understand, like the rules of grammar in a language or why things work in science. Facts are things you need to remember, like words in a new language, names of important people, or dates. Doing is using the skill, like speaking a new language, writing a story, or playing music. Try to list the main ideas, facts, and doing parts for your subject. This helps you see the road ahead. It shows you what you will need to study and practice. Then think how you will learn it best. What tools will you use? What methods will you follow? Will you read books, watch online videos, use a mobile app, or practice with other people? It is a good idea to look at how other people learned this skill successfully. They are like guides who walked the road before you. What books did they read? What exercises did they do? You can find many ideas from them. Choose the tools and methods that seem best for you and the parts you need to learn. Maybe a book is good for understanding ideas. Maybe finding a partner is good for practicing the doing part, like speaking. Choose the best ways that fit your goal. Spending some time on this plan is very helpful. Maybe spend about 1 hour planning for every 10 hours you plan to study in total. This time helps you make your simple map. It helps you see the ideas, facts, and doing parts clearly. It helps you choose the right tools and ways to learn from the start. This map is your guide on your learning journey. It helps you learn what you need and how to learn it well. A good plan makes your learning stronger and helps you avoid problems later. 3. Stay focused. Focus is very important for learning. It helps your brain learn new things well and quickly. When you focus, you use your brain power on one thing. This makes learning strong. But focusing can be hard. Our brains often get distracted easily. Many things pull our attention away. Think about Mary Somerville. She was a smart woman who lived a long time ago. She wanted to learn math and science, but she had a busy life at home. She had children and visitors. People came to see her often. They made noise. They wanted her time. It was hard for her to find quiet time to study, but she learned to focus anyway. She learned hard things even with many distractions around her. This shows that learning to focus is possible for everyone. Why do we get distracted? There are a few reasons. Sometimes the place we are in is noisy or busy. Maybe our phone makes a sound. Maybe the computer shows a new message. These things pull our attention. Sometimes the thing we are trying to learn is hard or boring. Our brain wants to do something easier or more fun, so our mind goes to other things. Sometimes our own mind is busy. We think about worries or other plans. Our thoughts make it hard to focus on the learning task. But there are simple ways to help your brain focus better. First, think about the place where you study. Try to make it a good place for focus. Find a quiet room, turn off your phone. Close websites on your computer that you do not need for studying. Have your book, pens, and paper ready. This helps your brain know it is time to focus on learning. A quiet place with no noise helps your brain stay on the task. Second, think about the task itself. Sometimes reading a book can be hard to focus on. Your mind might wander. Try to make learning more active. Write notes while you read. Try to explain the idea in your own words. Try to solve a problem. These active things keep your brain busy with the learning. It makes it harder for your mind to go away. Third, think about your mind. It is normal for your mind to think about other things. When this happens, do not worry. Just notice that your mind is thinking about something else. Then gently bring your attention back to your learning task. It is like training a small dog. It runs away and you bring it back. You do this again and again. With practice, your mind will stay focused for longer times. It can help to start with small amounts of time. Maybe try to focus for just 5 minutes first. Then take a short break. Then try again for 5 minutes. Or you can try to focus for 25 minutes and then take a 5-minute break. This is called the Pomodoro technique. It helps you practice focusing for periods of time. Learning to focus takes practice. It might feel hard at first, but like Mary Somerville, you can learn to control your attention. Finding a quiet place, making your learning active, and bringing your mind back gently are simple steps. They help sharpen your focus. This sharp focus will help you learn much better and faster. 4. Learn by doing it. The best way to learn a new skill is to do the real thing. This is called directness. It means you learn by doing the skill itself, not just learning about the skill. Think about learning to swim. You can read many books about swimming. You can watch videos of people swimming, but this is not enough. You learn to swim by getting in the water and swimming. Doing the real action is the most important part. Why is just reading or listening not enough? Because reading and listening are passive ways to learn. You get information, you get knowledge, but skills are different. Skills need active practice. When you do something, you use your body and your mind together. This helps your brain learn in a different way. It builds the connections needed for the skill. Let's look at some examples. Imagine you want to learn a new language. You can study grammar rules. You can memorize lists of words. This gives you knowledge about the language. But to speak the language, you need to practice speaking. Benny Lewis learned languages fast by speaking from the very first day. He did not wait until he knew many words or perfect grammar. He started talking to people directly. This helped him learn the skill of speaking much faster. Another example is learning to make computer games. Eric Barron wanted to make his own game. He needed many skills, like drawing pictures for the game. He learned by doing the drawing for his real game project. He did not just read books about art. He practiced drawing the pictures he needed for his game. This direct practice helped him get better at the exact kind of drawing he needed. Vatsal Jaiswal wanted to be an architect. He went to school, but he felt he did not have the right skills for a job. He learned by doing. He got a job where he saw real building plans every day. He taught himself to use the computer programs that architects use for real buildings. Then he made his own building plans for a new project. This direct practice showed companies he had the skills they needed. Scott wanted to learn computer science like students at MIT. He did not just watch videos of classes. He practiced by doing the real problems from the MIT classes. He worked on programming tasks. This was direct practice for the skills needed to pass the tests and understand the ideas. How can you start practicing your skill directly? First, think about where and how you want to use the skill in the real world. Then, find ways to practice in that situation or one very close to it. If you want to write well, start writing real emails, letters, or stories. If you want to cook, start cooking real meals. If you want to play music, start playing songs. Sometimes doing the real thing right away is hard or not possible, like learning to fly a plane. You cannot just take a real plane, but you can use a flight simulator. A simulator is a way to practice that is very close to the real thing. It helps you use the skills you need for flying. Find the closest way you can practice the real skill. Learning by doing means you spend your time on active practice. It might feel harder than just reading or listening. It might feel uncomfortable at first. But it is the best way to build the skill you want to have. 5. Practice the hard parts. When you learn something new, some parts are easy, but other parts are difficult. Everyone has parts they find difficult in a skill. These are like weak spots. If you do not make these weak spots stronger, they can stop you from getting better. So it is important to find your weak spots in a skill. How can you find your weak spots? When you practice the whole skill, think about what feels hard. What parts make you slow down? What parts make you make mistakes? These are probably the parts you need to work on. After you find a difficult part, you can practice just that part. This means you break a big skill into smaller, easy pieces. Then you practice only one small piece. Practicing these small pieces helps you get better faster. Think about Benjamin Franklin. He was a great writer. But when he was young, his writing was not very good. He wanted to get better. He found his weak spots in writing. He read good writing from a magazine. Then he tried to write the same ideas using his own words without looking at the magazine. He compared his writing to the original. He saw what was not good. Maybe his words were not strong enough. Maybe his ideas were not in a good order. He practiced these small pieces. To practice using better words, he wrote the text again, but changed the words for others with the same meaning. To practice putting ideas in order, he mixed up the ideas and then put them in the right order again. He practiced these pieces until they were easy. This helped his whole writing skill get much better. Another example is Eric Barron. He wanted to make a video game. He needed to make art for the game. but pixel art, the style he wanted, was very difficult for him. This was his weak spot. He practiced making the art for his game directly. He looked at his art and looked at art he liked. He asked himself, why is this art good? Why is my art not good? He found that colors were hard for him, so he practiced just the colors. He studied how other artists used colors. He practiced making the art pieces again and again. For some art, he did it 10 or more times. He broke the big skill of making game art into smaller pieces, like colors, and practiced them until they were easy. When you practice only the hard parts, it can feel difficult. It is often more fun to practice what you are already good at. But if you practice only the difficult parts, they become easier. When the difficult parts become easy, the whole skill becomes much easier. You can do the whole skill faster and better. So find your weak spots, break them into small pieces, and practice them until they are easy. This is how you make your whole skill stronger. 6. Test yourself often. Testing is not just for school grades. It is a strong way to learn. When you test yourself, you help your brain remember things better. Many people think learning means reading a book or listening to a teacher. They read and read, but they do not stop to check what stays in their head. This is like filling a bucket with holes. The water goes in, but it quickly goes out. Testing yourself helps fix the holes. It makes your brain work to pull information out. This work makes the memory stronger. It is better to try and remember something than just to read it again. Even if it is hard to remember, trying helps a lot. Think about a person who wanted to learn math. He did not have many books with answers, so he had to try to solve problems himself. He had to think hard and remember what he knew. This made him very good at math because his brain worked hard to find the answers. Making your brain work hard is good for learning. It feels more difficult than just reading. But when you make your brain work to remember, the information stays longer. There are simple ways to test yourself often. One way is to use flashcards. You write a question on one side and the answer on the other. You look at the question and try to remember the answer before flipping the card. Another way is to read a little, then close the book. Try to write down everything you remember on a piece of paper. Do not look at the book. This is called free recall. It makes your brain work hard. You can also turn your notes into questions. When you finish reading a page, think of questions about the main ideas. Write the questions down. Later, try to answer the questions without looking at your notes. When you test yourself, you see what you remember well and what you forget. This is like getting feedback. It shows you where you need to study more. It helps you learn from your mistakes. If you forget something on your test, it is not bad. It shows you what parts are not strong in your memory yet. Then you know exactly what to go back and study again. This is a much better way to learn than just reading everything many times. Testing yourself often helps you see your progress. It helps you know if your learning methods are working. It makes your memories stronger. It is a simple but very powerful tool for learning anything. 7. Remember what you learn. Your brain is like a computer, but it works differently. It can learn many things, but it also forgets easily. Think about learning a new skill, like programming or a new language. You need to remember words, rules, or steps. A programmer needs to remember how to write code. A doctor needs to remember many facts about the body and sickness. If you forget, it is hard to use the skill well. Why does your brain forget? It forgets fast at the start after you first learn something. Imagine new knowledge is water in a bucket. Your bucket has small holes and the water leaks out quickly at first, then it leaks more slowly. Sometimes you do not forget the knowledge completely. It is still in your brain like a box in a room, but you lost the key to open the box. You cannot find the memory when you need it, but you can help your brain remember better. There are ways to make the knowledge stay in your mind. One way is to review what you learn, but not too soon. This is called spacing. If you learn something today, do not review it 10 minutes later. Wait until tomorrow. Then review it again in a few days. This makes your brain work harder to find the memory. This hard work helps the memory become stronger. It is like making the holes in the bucket smaller. You can use simple notes or flashcards for this. Some apps for learning words use this idea. They show you words again after the right amount of time. Another way is to make skills automatic. Think about simple things you do every day, like tying your shoes or typing on a keyboard. You do not think about every single step. Your body just knows how to do it. This is automatic memory. It stays with you for a very long time. When you practice something many times, it becomes automatic. It moves from thinking hard about steps to just doing it. Focus on practicing the most important parts of a skill until they are automatic. This helps you remember them for years. Also, keep practicing something even after you can do it right. This is called overlearning. You already know how to do the skill well, but you practice it more. This makes the memory even stronger. Like practicing a sport move many times. You can do it right, but you practice more to do it perfectly every time. This extra practice helps the memory stay longer. You can overlearn the main parts of a skill, or you can try harder tasks that use the skills you already know well. This helps you remember the easier skills better. You can also use memory tricks. These are called mnemonics. You can make a funny picture in your head about a word or a fact, or you can use a story. This picture or story helps you remember the information later. For example, to remember a word, you can make a picture that links the sound of the word to its meaning. These tricks can be very strong for remembering lists, names, or numbers. They can help you remember many things quickly. But for some skills, like speaking a language, you need to remember words very fast. These tricks can be a good start, but you still need more practice to use the memory quickly and easily. Remembering facts is important, but it is also important to understand ideas deeply. When you understand why something works, it is often easier to remember than just remembering facts. Try to explain ideas in your own words. This helps you understand and remember them better. People who learn things well, like Nigel Richards, who memorized many words for Scrabble, often use these ideas. They know that remembering needs effort. They use spacing, make skills automatic, overlearn, and use tricks. These ideas can help you remember what you learn and use your new skills. 8. Your learning journey. You have read about different ways to learn. You learned about planning your learning journey. You learned about staying focused on your task. You also learned that doing things is the best way to learn. Practicing the hard parts helps you get better. Testing yourself shows you what you know. It also helps you remember things for a long time. You learned how to make new knowledge stay in your mind. You have learned important ideas about learning. Now you know that you have the power to learn new things fast. This way of learning can help you reach your goals. You can learn skills that are important for your work. You can learn skills just for fun. Think about something you always wanted to learn. Maybe it is a new language. Maybe it is how to draw. Maybe it is a skill for a new job. How can you start your first small learning project? First, think about what you want to learn. Choose something that is interesting or useful to you. Make it a small project at the start. For example, instead of learn French, have a 10-minute conversation in French about your day. A small goal is easier to start. Then make a simple plan. Think about how you will practice. Will you use a book, an app? Will you find someone to practice with? Remember to plan for doing the real thing you want to learn. If you want to speak French, find a way to speak it. This is a simple map for your journey. Starting is the first step. It might feel difficult. You might not know everything. That is okay. Learning is not about being perfect at the start. It is about getting better step by step. Think about Scott Young learning computer science. He started small and learned one class at a time. Think about Benny Lewis learning languages. He started speaking from the first day. Keep practicing. Practice helps your brain learn. Practice helps you remember. Practice helps you get faster. It is like building a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Sometimes you will make mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. They show you what you need to practice more. Do not be afraid of mistakes. Learn from them. There might be days when you do not want to practice. You might feel tired. You might feel like giving up. This is normal. Learning hard things takes time and effort. Try to remember why you started. Remember your goal. Even a little practice is better than no practice. Keep going. Do not give up. Learning is a journey for life. You can always learn new things. The world is always changing. New skills are always needed. When you know how to learn well, you can learn anything. This journey does not end. You can keep learning and growing all your life. You have the tools now to start your own learning journey. You can choose what you want to learn and how you want to learn it. This is your journey. What is the first new thing you will try to learn using these ideas?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.